now he's had in a row, which is just a remarkable run. He started this run on November 1st, 2024, and in that time, over the 127 games, 32.5 points per game, which is just amazing. And since he's come back from injury, the Thunder win the game after Jaylen Brown tied it at 102 on a putback attempt by Chet Holmgren. He gets fouled. He goes to the line for 2 shots. And, of course, then the Thunder win the game. But the storyline now coming out of it is on a night where Jaylen Brown takes 14 free throws, he calls out the NBA on the idea of foul baiting.
I don't foul bait. I'm not looking to, flop or anything like that. But it's almost like you got to. It's almost like because there's a couple of plays in the fourth quarter where I feel like I drove strong, went up strong, and I didn't get the benefit of the doubt. But maybe if I would have flopped, maybe I would have been able to sell that call, and those decide games. So it's like, we commend players for, playing the game the right way, but, we give the benefit to those who, who necessarily are trying to manipulate the game into their advantage. I just don't think it's basketball. Like, let's just play basketball. All the foul baiting, I think it's whatever for me.
Does he have a point?
Hell no. Hell is Jaylen Brown talking about? It feels like Jaylen Brown's still salty at the refs for what happened against the San Antonio Spurs a couple of nights ago when he got teed up by Tyler Ford and then Meta threw him out the game. I got to take that with a grain of salt, especially on a night where Jaylen Brown doubled up on free throws in comparison to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, SGA, free throw merchant or not, is a bona fide bucket getter, and he's got the record to boot. That many consecutive games, north of 20 points, surpassing Wilt Chamberlain for 127 straight games.
Ridiculous.
Is incredible. I think Joker said it best. He doesn't know if people realize how hard it is to actually achieve that. Scoring 20-plus points in 10 straight games is hard. To do it in 127 straight games is impossible. And we're not talking about empty calorie stats either. There have been 35 fourth quarters during that span of games where SGA didn't play it. Think about that. 127 straight games, north of 20 points, and I don't play in 35 fourth quarters.
So when I'm out there, I'm making it count.
Yeah, he's leading the league in clutch points this year, 153, and last night was no exception. 2 go-ahead buckets in the final minute. You can't discredit what SGA has accomplished. The consistency, the excellence, it deserves recognition. Champs for a reason. Anything other than that is disrespectful to what SGA accomplished.
Defending champ, reigning MVP, last season's scoring title. He's second in the league in points per game this season, 31.8. And when we quantify it historically, there's a lot of angles we can look at it, but I think this one will pop out to a lot of people. SGA is on the verge of becoming the first player since Michael Jordan to score at least 30 points per game in 4 consecutive seasons. But this is the problem that I have with the current NBA. Anytime there's something good that happens, it feels like it is met with negativity and it's met with complaining about today's game.
Bravo.
Bam, yes, Bam earlier. We're complaining about how Bam got the points. SGA, he does something historic. He's been consistently excellent. It's not only Jaylen Brown that's been complaining about SGA. Remember the sound we played for Mike Brown talking about SGA not that long ago when he said, quote, he does a great job of convincing the referees better than anybody else in the league that he's getting hit? Anytime we talk about certain teams being great, we have to talk about the teams that they're playing, sitting everybody and tanking on purpose. It just drives me nuts because it feels like anytime we have something positive to talk about in the NBA and we take one step forward, in the same conversation, we're taking 2 steps back.
It's a great point by you because we could list off the reasons that the NFL is dominant in our country. Maybe the number one reason, it's an easy sport to consume because it's basically one day a week for the most part, right?
And we get to sample other teams.
The gambling part is so fun on that. DraftKings provides all the lines for us here. But maybe the biggest reason is that those who cover the those who cover the NFL, those who work in the NFL, and those who are fans of the NFL all love the NFL, and they tell us about it. Baseball writers forever have hated baseball. Basketball media now and basketball fans now do the same damn thing. The fact that, good point by you, the last 48 hours have been this debate about Bam is so infuriating to me on so many levels, not just because he's my guy on my team, but like, where's just the flat out, holy wow, that was amazing? Where is the flat out, holy wow, that's amazing about SGA? Yeah, I'm checking my mentions here on Twitter if you want to follow Smalls at Avco Radio. But Greg, who does a good job, I love Doggy77, who tweets every day at us. So I give him credit on this, or her, I think it's him. Wilt had no three-pointers. So now we're challenging the SGA. While that is true, first three-pointer, I believe, was 1979, Chris Ford by the Celtics. But, like, why are we doing that? Sure, the records are different for SGA, 127 straight games, which player arguably in the sport. To be an MVP, to potentially be back-to-back MVPs, to potentially be back-to-back champions, and we have to find negatives?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I get critiquing Bam Adebayo's 83 points because there are those that are fierce defenders of Kobe's legacy, Lakers fans in particular.
Basketball fans,
where you want to do the compare and contrast. I don't know why Jaylen Brown is coming out and being critical of what SGA accomplished last night. It doesn't make any sense. Is Jaylen Brown this huge Wilt Chamberlain fan? Are the people out here caping for Wilt Chamberlain still around to saying, hey, this NBA is so much easier, so much softer than yesterday? I don't understand why Jaylen Brown is doing this thing where he wants to be critical of somebody's style of play when it has proven to be effective at a championship level. The only thing that I can think of is that Jaylen Brown has an axe to grind with NBA officials and how the game is being called because of what he's experienced in recent days. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because other than that, it makes no sense to criticize the way that SGA plays when it's shown to be effective and it's proven that they're champions.
Absolutely. Dominant. Absolutely dominant last year and this year. But
is this him trying to make the case for him to be the MVP over SGA?
Maybe.
Is that what's going on?
Like how LeBron will say certain things about the GOAT?
Yeah. In that way?
Maybe.
Because I'm just trying to make sense of it because nothing makes sense. This is one of those times where you just have to acknowledge on that night, appreciate the greatness that you're competing against, which is SGA.
But if you're also in that conversation for greatness, especially in the immediacy of the moment, to call out what you think is maybe nefarious from someone who's your direct competition publicly, that is self-serving. That does have people start that conversation. But you said fans and media hate the NBA and they will complain about things. But it's coming from the players. It's coming from the coaches. They're the ones that are starting this conversation, and we're reacting to it. Of course, we're viewing the same product, and we may have the same thought process. But think about what just happened. We just watched something historic last night from SGA. And we said, yay, that was great. And we spent 90% of the conversation talking about what Jaylen Brown had to say. They're starting this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not all of it. All of it is true, and it's for somebody that loves the NBA like I do. It's very frustrating. It is very, very, very frustrating.
And as somebody who's getting into the NBA more, who doesn't have a team that I cheer for all the time, who hasn't had this my entire life, it's tough sometimes to get into it. It's tough sometimes to really, really dive in and make it as much of appointment viewing as other sports. It really is. It's a shame.
Any way you cut it. Shea got it done. 127 straight games, 20-plus points. Cam Pratt, our producer, provides a note. This is an amazing note. OKC's record during this streak is 103-24. 103-24. So the scoring leads to winning, which is the most important part of that with Oklahoma City. Coming up, number one overall in Minnesota. We will explain.